And may I also draw your attention to the fact that not only the 50 odd people who are here in the audience, there are 170 participants at various distant locations. Besides, there are number of other participants who are listening to these deliberations sitting in their own auditoria. Dr. Jahan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to deliver a small talk on the topic moral responsibilities of a doctor towards a COVID-19 patient. We have turned doctors into gods, and we worship their deity by offering up our bodies and our souls. And yet, paradoxically, they are the most vulnerable of all human beings. They have aptly been called as wounded healers. Eric Segal said these words in the year 1989, and they still hold true for doctors. Doctors are no doubt the backbone of the healthcare system. Amidst the rising criticism of the medical profession and the growing dissent, COVID-19 pandemic has emerged as a uniting factor between medical practitioners and the general public. It has infused a renewed zeal for the frontline healthcare workers, and they have been given the sobriquet of Corona warriors. Indeed, working in a pandemic on a war footing is no easy task, as we risk our own lives as well as those of our loved ones. As junior doctors work constantly on the floor and are in touch with the patient status in real time, they bear even the greater responsibilities than any other healthcare workers. Now, I would like to underline the 4 C's of moral responsibility of doctors towards a COVID-19 patient. The 4 C's are communication, compassion, care rationing, and care of self. The first C is communication. COVID-19 is a novel virus unheard of before a few months back, and with a hitherto unknown cure or vaccine. This has led to the development of a coronaphobia. Doctors should avoid such colloquialisms to curb the rising stigma, xenophobia, and racism. Thus, open-ended communication becomes a moral responsibility of a doctor. Communication should be gentle about the positive status of the patient, and they should be counseled that it is not a death sentence in itself. Rather, the whole healthcare system stands in their support at all levels. Communication should be done about the limited healthcare facilities and limited role of modern medicine in this influenza-like illness. Communication regarding the prognosis and the gravity of it if the patient develops severe acute respiratory illness should sound empathetic. Things should be explained judiciously without using harsh words or false hopes. Intimation of death of a patient should be done prudently, keeping in mind the death shock or aggressive mourning by relatives. Prospect of a patient dying alone is appalling, but the reality of a pandemic is that public health takes precedence. Doctors can ensure that families understand and accept this. Attaching a name tag or a photograph on the PPE can also aid in efficient communication. Now coming to the second C, that is compassion. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. These words were said by Plato, and they became etched in the sands of time. A COVID sufferer has to undergo physical, mental, as well as emotional stress. Thoughts of death can be depressing, leading to patient suicide. The family may have been outlawed by the society in which they live. In the absence of adequate resources, the burden of disease multiplies. In this situation, a doctor is the best person to diffuse the stress, as the nature of our work makes us more rationalistic as well as empathetic. Other healthcare workers like nurses, physiotherapists also look up to doctors for proper guidance and moral support. Coming to the third C, that is care rationing. The COVID-19 is a global tragedy raising thorny medical dilemmas. In countries with overwhelming burden of COVID, there were reports of care rationing as the supply of key resources such as ventilators was outstripped by the number of patients. The first step in care rationing is effective triage, that is, utilizing limited resources for maximum benefit. As doctors, we are trained in applying a deontological approach, which requires us to make critical decisions based on a prescribed set of rules or guidelines. However, In a pandemic, we have to think about the greater good and screen out those who are unlikely to benefit from our limited resources. This is called as the utilitarian approach, which is a paradigm shift from our usual style of work. To help doctors in effective triage and avoid psychological toll it has on doctors, framing institutional policies is the best way. Newer modalities like virtual town halls are emerging, which are online platforms which unite healthcare practitioners across institutes or states and help them in policy making for the same. Finally, we should ensure that those screened out receive optimum end-of-life care so that they die with dignity as a martyr of this pandemic. Now, coming to last but not the least, care of self or self-protection. In an already limited resource setting, burden of care lies on doctors themselves. Even a minor lapse can be fatal. One decision taken in haste can save that particular patient, but it will cost us those 1 lakh working hours a doctor otherwise could have contributed to benefit many others. We can never be sure that whether it is quiet heroism or just youthful idealism, or both. Then doctors can themselves be in high-risk group, for example, pregnant doctors, doctors on immunosuppressive drugs, or diabetic doctors, or they may have elderly parents or small children at home. Following strict infection control at home should be the first choice. There is an ethical consensus that we as doctors have a prima facie duty to work because of our unique position in the society and because we went in this profession knowing that it is full of hazards. However, the obligation is not absolute, and the onus of self-protection should not be only on self, rather it should be a state or institutional policy. Finally, psychological counseling and moral boost-up of doctors should be done from time to time to preserve and protect our mental health, which is as important as physical safety. In the end, all I can say that our response to this virus is a reflection of who we are and how we behave as a global community. So let this be seen by our future generation as our greatest hour. Now, I would like to conclude by quoting Majrooh Sultanpuri. मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर लोग आते गए और कारवां बढ़ता गया. Thank you.